Hey guys, hey, hello, hello, hello. It's a new day with Stanley and Renee. Hey, we're trying to get this frame together, but hey, we're going to make it. Hey, I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I hope everybody had a blessed week.
Yes.
We are now in about a day or so from spring.
A day or two,
maybe a day or
like
two. I know this time thing is setting me up, man. It's messing me up. I don't know about y'all, but still adjusting to this daylight saving thing, man. Ooh, which is sort of bumpy for me right now, but we're gonna get through it. All right, guys. Our topic today, I hope you've seen it. I've been posting it on Facebook, and also it is on YouTube, and also our number one producers, hey, is Blast Radio/music. Hope you guys are tuning in those wonderful sites. But our topic today is my worst enemy. What do I say about my worst enemy? Well, who is your worst enemy? Guess who's your worst enemy? And I'm speaking for me. I am my worst enemy. Unfortunately, I am. It is.
This was just checking to see if they thought it was someone else.
Or do you think it's somebody else? My wife is.
I'm trying to coach him tonight, y'all. I'm trying to coach him. I was guiding him earlier on what to do.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
It's okay.
He's already said it.
I already said it. My worst enemy is me. True for that. Or is it?
Yes.
So, it is. Or is it? Could it be somebody at work, or could it be somebody at church? So I'm giving you all these scenarios, but what it boils down to, I am my worst enemy. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
Oh, yeah. Okay, she's up. I'm out. I done messed up, but we're gonna keep it moving.
I wanted to talk a little bit before we get started and move forward with what we want to talk about tonight. Is the fact that we were inspired by a message, motivational message that Bishop T.D. Jakes gave, and it was talking about. I'm probably not getting it exactly right, but the title was "The Courage to Change" or something like that. Mm-hmm. The courage to change, and so I kept thinking about how we are our worst enemy. When he was talking about all the different things he was sharing with us in the video, that we stand in the way of a lot of things. And we keep those things from happening, whether it's goals or dreams, that we are the one, like Stan said, all we have to do is look in the mirror. And when we were talking about the mirror before, we look in the mirror, this time we see our worst enemy. And so we're the reason why we're not making progress. We're the reason why we're not moving forward. Yeah. We are the reason why all these years have passed and those goals and dreams that were set maybe 5 or 10 years ago. Haven't come to pass. So it's so important for us to realize that we are our worst enemy. What would you like to share now?
We are the ones standing in the way, of course, reaching the goals. And because the reason why we don't reach the goals, because number one, we keep making excuses.
Okay.
So
what's that mean?
Oh God. Well, we procrastinate a lot. I know I do. We keep making these goals, and sometimes we do these what we call these New Year's resolutions,
right?
Which I'm not really good at. Tried it, did it.
I don't do that
and
anymore.
It don't work for me. Making excuses. We always push things off. Well, I'll do it today. Well, no, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll do it next month. I'm just gonna start a clean month. Is there such thing as a clean month?
I guess they mean you're going to start at the beginning of the month,
which is
with a fresh new start.
Yeah,
I
guess that's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we all have a tendency, we put our dreams on hold. That causes some of the repercussions of why we continue to make excuses, because we're basically putting our dreams on hold.
So what kind of excuses do you think that you've made? Because I'll share what I've made.
Oh, man. Good evening. Hello, Soul Rest Music. Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Some of the excuses that
you use. I know I'm going to share my excuses, but what are some of the excuses that you used in while you're putting things off?
Well, I know sometimes on my job, I do a pretty good amount of walking. So I try to get my cardio in every day when I'm working. but I want to really get back into exercising, doing the things. But
no, we're talking about excuses. What excuses have you made that prevent you from moving forward and doing some of the things that you want to do? That was the topic.
Oh, the excuses that I use.
She is. So when you, say for instance, you have set in your mind that you're going to exercise or you're going to walk, what excuses start coming to you about why you shouldn't do that? Well, why should you wait to do it?
Well, at times I get home and I'm like, well, I'm tired. I got a lot of stuff I got to do when I get home anyway. So, I said, well, I got to cook because that's what I do. I cook and try to get that in before you get in from work because you come in later on than I do. And I said, well, I go ahead and go do some cooking and cook some dinner. And then I go ahead and I do need to wash some clothes.
Right. So finding other things.
Fulfilling that gap of not really using, focusing on my goal of what I said I promised I was going to do for myself. And then, like I said, sometimes I'd be like, well, God, I've been working all day. I don't have to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And I've been working all day. I don't got my cardio on or whatever. So I just go ahead and do it tomorrow. But tomorrow comes and it's the same excuses all over again.
Right. And I do that a lot too. Because I can walk at work. Yeah. We've got a good, big, pretty campus that we, walk on and get some exercise on, and I can do that. Then I'll get here. Because used to what I would do is I would walk, in our community, in our neighborhood. And if the weather was bad, we have an exercise bike, so exercise bike and get moving. But I was like, I've been working all day. I don't feel like doing anything else but resting and going to bed early.
True. And it comes to this next subject on what I'm talking to you about, that we're not willing to do the work.
Yeah, that's something.
We're not willing to do the work.
We're not ready.
No, we're not. We're not. Oh boy, we're not good examples today for you, but I'm keeping it real.
And I even with my excuses that I have had, I'll put it that way. I realized too, when we were listening to what TD Jakes was saying, is the fact that he had a lot of health concerns, and he was talking about how he felt about and how he made excuses and different things, and it just inspired me after listening to it to see that I've been doing that. I've been making excuses. I'm too tired. I don't feel like doing it today. I'll do it tomorrow. I just don't. It's not gonna work right now. I got to go, like you said, like Steven said, got to go do laundry. I got to go get some groceries. Always making excuses. But the bottom line is, do we feel like that we are important enough to make changes in our lives that will make our lives better? We have to realize that that's the thing. We got to feel like that we are important enough and that our health is important enough. And part of mine has been that I have diabetes on both sides of my family. And I'm working on getting my A1C down. And when I heard him say that about, just talking about, he just kind of started weighing the risk, if I don't do something and do better, then what's going to happen? My health's not going to get any better, and it may complicate some things. And I may have some other problems, further along the way. And so it's important that we don't keep putting things off, even with our health. And it's we talked about it before too.
Because some things that we should do on a medical basis of what we should do as we get older, we keep putting that off. And I don't want to keep going through this list of things, but we know what it is. It could. Certain age you're supposed to get a colonoscopy and certain checkups when you get a certain age, and you keep putting it off, and you're like, well, I feel okay. Just because you feel okay don't mean you're okay. Right,
that's a good point.
So that's why you have to go to the doctor and go through the process of the colonoscopy to get further into the issue. And it could be laying dormant and you're not knowing it, but you're feeling good.
Right. So it's so important.
Yes.
So important that you do that, right?
Very risky, yes.
I think too, not only when it comes to our health, we have to think about even let me back up a little bit. With our health, we have mental health, we have physical health, we have emotional health. And just touching on that mental and emotional health part, let's think about relationships.
Mm.
Let's have a conversation about relationships, because sometimes when we're in relationships and past relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
We tend to carry over what we had from a previous relationship.
Oh,
Right.
That's called extra baggage.
Right. Sometimes how do I want to say it? We get hurt so bad that we feel like that the next person that you meet.
Oh yeah.
Are you all right over there?
Yeah.
The next person that you meet is going to be going to break your heart the same way that previous one did, or the second one did, or whatever. But we have to realize that, we can't allow, right? We can't allow that to happen, that we get so caught up from past experiences that we're not able to move forward and be able to really commit to a healthy relationship, right?
That's true.
So we just want to encourage anybody that's ever gone through something very traumatic with a relationship to just step back and think, just because this one person or this second person did this to me doesn't mean that the next one will. And even with that, it comes to finding out and being aware of our choices.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the choices that we make or the people that we're drawn to, right, Stan?
That's true.
Are not good for us.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah. It comes down to self-evaluation first. You have to do a self-evaluation on yourself to make sure, and your motive of why you're doing what you're doing. Check your motive of why you're going back into a relationship. Check that first.
Yeah.
That's the first block you should check.
Some people don't want to be alone.
A lot of people don't want to be alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what is that caused? What is that caused by? A person not wanting to be alone. We have to really do some research on that. Why do I have a fear of being alone? You have to first of all find out that reason why.
Mm-hmm.
It could be some deep psychological issues in your childhood. Could have started in childhood.
True.
With the insecurity of separation anxiety.
It's true.
Some kids have separation anxiety when they're young. They always want to be, like when their mother goes or their father goes, and they feel like, I don't want to be left alone.
Right.
How did that start? Well, it always boils down to one word, and I always use this word. It's called fear.
Yeah.
So is fear a genetical trait, or is it a taught issue?
Well, I mean, if you look at it from through the eyes of psychology, it's something that's taught.
Okay.
Because I know I'm almost afraid of mice. I'm afraid of mice. And I saw, we go by what we see in our environment a lot of times. It's not fear is something. Because just think about it. Most children are what is it like? What is it? Daredevils, is that the word I'm trying to use? A lot of children, they will run, jump, flip across things, and do all kinds of stuff that we as adults know, oh, that's not safe. Right. But we teach our children when it comes to fear, but to be afraid of they're not born being fearful, because you just think about it. You be like, okay, that kid's climbing way high up there on that monkey bars, don't you think? He got a little too high, no, but they don't see it. So it is taught. So
would you say from the point of being taught as a child, could that be for some odd reason being brought into your adulthood?
Of course. Don't you see?
But that's what I'm trying to make a point.
Right. Everything that happens to us as children, it has an impact on us as adults too. What we saw in our homes growing up, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it gets back to the point of people having a fear of not being alone in relationships.
Yeah.
See where I'm going with this? And so you have to start where the root began. Where did it start? So how can you get delivered from that?
Something that may need to be worked on.
It might need to be worked on because there's so much time that has lapsed between a child for your childhood all the way up to adulthood. That's a lot
of time for stuff to happen to you, right?
Yeah. And now it's built up to this great monster in your adulthood that you have a fear of don't want to be alone. I don't like being alone.
Well, yeah, because there's some people who have suffered a lot of loss with loved ones, people that were close to them, and they don't, therefore they feel like, just think of a child who's lost multiple people in their lives, whether it was their parents or grandmother or somebody, and they're thinking, everybody's leaving me.
Right.
Why is that happening? And then that, may lead to that person when they become an adult, not having issues with trust. I guess that's what I'm going to. Having issues with trust when it comes with relationships. So there are things that happen to us that have a profound effect, that happen when we're children, when we're younger, that have a profound effect on us when we become adults. So we are complicated beings, aren't we? It's something to think about, So we're always working on trying to improve ourselves. But my thing is, don't let yourself be the reason that you can't move forward and have a positive relationship.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we sabotage ourselves and can't recognize when the good thing shows up, because we've had so many bad experiences, whether you're male or female, right?
It's true.
Yeah. So it's important about that. Not letting go of the past.
Ooh. Yeah.
Can be a challenge for people to
major
hurts, and not wanting to go there again or wanting to experience that kind of pain. So, do you think men are more apt to, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how to say this. I think back, when and even currently now with the time of dating and things like that, we as women, I don't think we really thought about the fact that sometimes men didn't want to approach women because women, they were tired of being rejected. What do you think? I mean, sometimes if a person has tried to connect with somebody or reach out, and every time they get rejected, then they're not more likely to come back and connect to somebody, because they feel like, if I go again, I'm just going to get rejected and hurt. Why would I bother to do that? Do men ever think that way?
I'm quite sure they do. I can't speak for every man, but I'm quite sure they do. And they're probably tired of being rejected. Yeah, they're human. I'm quite sure that some men do feel that way.
Okay.
The fear of rejection. That stings into a lot of things. I mean, you can go, like I said, from the crib all the way up till now as adulthood, and then the personal experience during relationships. With the years that you have invested in a relationship, and all of a sudden the bottom falls out.
Right.
You're talking maybe 10 or 8 or 6 or 5 or whatever, 4, but that's time invested that you put in.
Right. True.
And I mean, if you really, really love that person, that means you put in your whole heart in that relationship.
Right.
And then for the bottom to fall out, and then you get to a point where you feel like, it took me a long time to find love. You know what I'm saying? And do I want to go through this again and experience this hurt? Because now you're running that scenario through your head. If it happened one time, it'll happen again.
Yeah.
Some people think that way. They don't want to take a second chance.
Right.
Because of the fear of rejection and failure.
And not believing that a person can be faithful, or committed to a relationship. And it's interesting because I was watching this. I get on YouTube and start looking at stuff. There was a posting that I thought was pretty interesting. It was a young Black couple, and the young man had decided that he wanted to propose, to, I guess, his girlfriend or whatever, and they were actually doing like a photo shoot. Anybody may have seen this already. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And anyway, she was sitting there posing, you saw her sitting there posing and waiting, I guess, for instructions from the photographer, right? And he comes over, he's down on his knee, getting ready to propose to her. And so she just broke down. I mean, she literally fell apart. And all I could think about was the fact that she probably had been through so many negative things and so many negative relationships. And then all of a sudden, somebody that she felt like she could trust or move forward with came along. I mean, she cried. It might have been a good, what, 3 or 4 minutes?
3 or 4 minutes.
And she had to get herself together.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, you know,
what kind of
things that maybe she had experienced.
She met this man.
Right. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But you know, sometimes it takes a while for people to be able to move forward. And I understand there's pain, right?
Yeah.
That it's a process, but definitely don't give up on your dreams, whether it's a relationship or whether it's getting yourself healthy again, eating right, doing those things that you need to do to move forward, to be the best that you can be. That's important, right?
Yeah, it's very important.
Think so?
Yeah. Speaking of that,
okay.
You know, when it comes down to our health, what are the major issues that we might? Well, one of them is not eating right.
Yeah.
You know, not eating right.
Yeah.
And here we go with the water situation.
Oh,
And she's drinking some right now. You know, we don't drink enough water. You know, situation of not drinking enough water. You know, to get that into your system.
But we gotta be healthy.
We gotta be healthy, and then some of it, you know, not exercising.
Well, we mentioned that before.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
Making those excuses,
and some people, you know, really, the older I get, excuse me, the older I get, my doctor tells me the best exercise.
Water?
Yeah. Thank you. My doctor told me the best exercise is walking. And of course, you know, we get older. She says some of the things you can work out in gym. Excuse me. You can work out in gym, she said, but you know, really the weights are for toning. And so, you know, you can't lift heavy, you know, like we used to do when we was young. You know, you have to be aware of that because now your joints and your muscle, ligaments and everything is changing as you get older.
Yeah, because the wear and tear on your body.
Yeah, and the wear and tear on the body. And so, you know, exercise is very essential that we do that. Whether it be walking, which I think is the best thing to do. And believe it or not, meditation and stretching is good. It's very good exercise.
So what about self-care? That's what that's about.
Yeah, it's self-care, yeah.
How do you take care of yourself?
How you take care of yourself and also not following our doctor's orders. Oh boy. You know, they be trying to tell us that we need a diet, we need a strict diet and you know, eat a lot of leafy vegetables and, you know, drink plenty of water, you know, doing all these things. And you be like, okay, yeah, well, I'll stick with a salad for a while. Just don't bring no pizza home. You know what I'm saying?
You know, mine is sweets.
You know, and then my wife, she got a real bad sweet tooth.
I said I need to fast from sweets, like cakes and pies and stuff for 2 months, probably. And if I can do that and watch my carbs, I'll be able to get my A1C back down.
And it's okay to do it in moderation, but you have to be, even in moderation, you got to be very careful because everything is so loaded with sugar.
That's true. That's true.
You know, I don't know if there is a moderation when it comes to sugary desserts. The sugar is sugar.
I didn't fast.
And believe it or not, even certain fruits have an amount
too much sugar too. You have to watch that too.
Like, oh, it's just, you know, whatever. It's just a pineapple, whatever. Or something of a sweet. Be careful.
Too much sugar, even natural sugar. Yeah. Be too much.
So those things, doctor's orders, and not putting ourselves first, not taking time out for ourselves, can be very devastating. You know, and that's the most important thing is to take time out for ourselves. Well, what do we do to take time out for ourselves? Like I said, it could be a variation of things. Getting out of the house for one.
Yes.
Don't go to work. And a lot of people have a regimen where they just work and come home and just flop on the couch.
Well, we're talking about ourselves.
Call no names. The devil is a lie.
We're talking about ourselves.
Well, anyhow,
But you deserve better than that.
I mean, I'm talking about
active.
I mean, you know, there's days that you cannot do it because it might be rainy, the bad weather, whatever. But situations of when you get home from work, and it depends if you have a real physical job, then that can be somewhat tasking because, you know, when you're doing physical work, trust me, I know I've been there and done it. You ain't thinking about going out, sitting out in the sunshine and letting the sun and hearing the birds and all.
No, that's true.
You know, you be calling the birds and snoring and sleeping or whatever. But situations of a sort, taking the time out for yourself, it can be various things. Playing games, playing family games or whatever, family time. Taking a good time out for yourself, enjoy you, and to laugh. Laughter, and that's real good. You know, it's good for your heart and your spirit. Some kind of joy, but yeah.
I think it's time for me.
Oh, is it? Oh, I'm sorry. We talking too much. Let us call our number one producer.
All right.
Brother D-Way. There he is.
What's going on, D-Way? I am D-Way, the producer from blastradio247.com. And today's New Day single of the week is instrumental called Buckrow, I Just Want to Live by the Divine Favor Project. And here we are on New Day with Stanley and Renee. Let's go.
Mm.
And that was Buck Row. I Just Want to Live by the Divine Favor Project. And if you are an independent artist, spoken word artist, or even a stand up comedian, and you're ready to get your art out there, go to www.blastmusic247.com, fill out a free profile, and let's get your art out there to the community. Blastmusic247.com, changing the industry one artist at a time. And now back, I got tongue tied because I've been listening to the podcast and y'all said colonoscopy, and I had a flashback. Hey, look, I ain't been right since y'all brought that up.
Oh man, come on now. Take care of your health.
He already did.
That's trauma. Oh my God. Anyway, back to a new day with Stanley Renee.
We didn't mean to disturb you, D.
Disturb his peace.
We didn't mean to disturb your peace and bring your past back. Oh, bro.
But that was a beautiful song.
Yes, it
very
was.
relaxing. I enjoy that. That I could hear, driving along, listening to that, or going for a walk on the beach. We saw the beach thing.
Oh yeah, the beach.
Self-care,
most
that
definitely.
kind of thing.
Sit on your patio, and that's where I be. Because I can't listen to that when I'm driving. I drift off. That's too relaxing. It sounds good though. Wow, cool.
But part of what we want to do today is just to encourage you to go for it, whatever your goals or your dreams are, whether it's related to your health, whether it's starting your own business. And we always sometimes seem to be coming back some of the same things, if you notice that, to share with you, because life is too short.
Oof.
There's so many people that end up dying and they never fulfill those dreams. They never complete that bucket list that they had, and they never were able to move forward because they were so concerned about what others would think about what they were doing. So I'm just encouraging you, don't allow barriers or different things like procrastination, to keep you from moving forward and doing what it is that you need to do. Because I was listening to something somebody else was saying the other day, and they were saying, if you really think about all the dreams and all the goals that you had you went and pursued those things earlier on in your life, where would you be today? Totally different, probably a totally different lifestyle, So it's so important to remember that those dreams, those goals, those things that you want to accomplish in life, it's time to start today afresh. Okay. It's time to take control of our lives and not sit back and just be a spectator.
True.
We need to be about doing it, right? We need to be a doer. Okay. So saying it's too hard, we go back to the excuses. We can't say that it's too hard. It's not too hard. It's just, are we lazy? Now I admit, I'm being transparent. I've been lazy a lot of times. It's not so much that I didn't want to do it, but I was just lazy. I didn't feel like doing it. And sometimes you have to push through things, even if you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway. Even a little bit at a time. If you're doing, working on something, 10 or 15 minutes out of your day towards something that you want to accomplish can mean a lot. It can add up, don't you think so, Stan? Yeah. So it's so important to not give excuses or procrastinate or say, I'm too old. I can't do that. No, we're not too old. There are people that have started things in 60, 50, 90, whatever. You just have to be willing to let go and go for it. Find out what it is that you need to do to make it happen. You may say, I don't have anybody to help me. That's not going to fly either, right, Stan? No. You can't say I don't have anybody to help me because you got you.
Yeah, you have you. But I think the best thing to start, if you ever want to get back into working out, go to the gym and see if you can get a personal instructor.
Yeah, that's true. You could.
And I know you people, everybody's probably like, oh, that's a lot of money, Brother Stan. But how much is your health worth?
Right.
How much is your health worth? We have invested in so much other things.
In other people.
Here we go. That's a good thing.
Instead of ourselves, right?
Yeah. And so think about the money, the time, that you invested in people and things, and why can't you do that for yourself? You know, yeah, a personal instructor. That's her or his job to do to help you start.
Right.
And to make sure that you stick with your goals. And even some of them will give you a nutritionist, you know, a dietitian person that will help you stick with your diet that's required. Because you can work out all you want to, but if you ain't eating right, it sort of defeats the purpose. It does defeat the purpose, because it all works together.
Right. So I think you're up.
Oh, yeah.
So what do we do to get back on track?
What do we get back? Like I said before, it's sometimes you have to find someone that will motivate you and be a partner. Because sometimes it is hard to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
I know when I started out, this was a long time ago. This was in the 80s when I lost that 120-something pounds.
Yeah.
I had to have a friend that actually helped me.
Right.
He gave me a regimen of exercise plan, a dietitian plan, and he actually worked with me for maybe 3 months so I can get myself broken in. You know, and then after I did that, he actually left me for maybe an additional 4 or 5 more months.
Yeah, I think it's what
because I've already had it already settled inside of me. So he said, "Okay, Stan, you got this down, but I don't want to, you know, constantly be with you every day because I've been with you 3 months. So you got it down,
right?
And I'll see you in the next 4 or 5 months." You know, he said, "And I want to see results." Guess what? He saw results.
Exactly.
Why? Because I put my time in, and I was very I stuck with the plan. I didn't procrastinate because it was already inside of me to do it, because I was already you know, drilled inside of me to do it. It became normal. You know, for me to not even to, at times I wouldn't even drive my car going to the gym. I would walk to the gym, work out for maybe an hour or two, and then walk back home. That was like a other additional, maybe a good additional 12, 14 miles. Then I walk back home, walk to the gym, and walk back home.
Now, even with you doing that, you had to admit there was some things you weren't doing right in the beginning, right?
It was a lot of things. I had to change my whole way of eating. You're talking about years and years and years, from childhood all the way up to, you know, in my younger years, like I was in my early 20s, eating wrong.
Right.
I had to learn how to eat right, and I had to be disciplined, you know, and I had to really tell myself, Stan, how bad do you want this?
Yes.
How bad do you really want it? You know, after I went to, you know, when I first really opened my eyes, when the doctor told me my blood pressure was too high, and it was everything that was just going crazy. My body, everything was going haywire, my system, everything. And he said, really, you got to do something because you're on the verge of possibly having a stroke. So you got to do something. You know, that transition, that opened my eyes, that I had to really do it. And when my friend came around, one of my brothers from school, you know, best friend in school, I haven't seen him for years after we graduated. And when he saw me, he's like, what happened? You know, I was never a small guy anyway, but he said, you know, I had more additional weight that gained at the high school or whatever. He said, Flake, what happened? You know, and so he said, you ain't got to tell me, I know what happened. So he didn't beat me down. He didn't ridicule me. He didn't embarrass me. He didn't, you know, he didn't make me shame. He said, look, meet me at the gym. And that's where it started. But you have to have somebody that's going to motivate you and hold your feet to the fire.
Right.
And then
recognize we got bad habits, right?
Yeah, you have to recognize that.
We got some bad habits.
We all do. But it takes time, and it can be done. Secondly, admit.
You already said that, sweet.
Yeah, admit what you're doing wrong. Okay, acknowledge what it is
we need to change. So specifically knowing what it is we
gotta know what we need to change. Because what was working the first time, you know that was wrong. because so you got to find out what works for you that's going to make you better in your health. Because food can take you through so many changes. I mean, it'll make you feel sluggish, overeating, and then it messes with your joints because of additional weight. It messes with your breathing, your respiratory system. It messes with so much. Your kidneys, your liver, all of that. So, I mean, you have to, acknowledge it. What do I need to do to make a change?
And that's just like even with, what was the song that was in Pay the Bell, New Attitude?
Oh, yeah.
You got to get new attitude. You have to change your mindset and realize that you got to start talking to yourself. Sometimes we have to encourage ourselves. Even if you have to stand in front of the mirror and say, I can, I must, I will, whatever affirmation works for you. I can, I must, and I will. We gotta do that. We need to know that we have a calling for greatness. Sometimes we can kind of get complacent and satisfied with being where we are, but that's not a good thing. I always want to be learning, and we always should be learning something all the time. We should be growing all the time. We should be moving forward all the time. So just making sure that we realize that and recognize that these dreams and goals that we set is calling us to greatness. And what is the thing you're always saying about, you always have to do when it comes to God, about the gift? Your gift should be what?
Oh, you talking about?
You used to say about God doesn't want a gift that's the bows falling. What did you just say?
Yeah, I said God don't want a gift. He don't want you to present him a gift and the bows falling off, the paper's ripped up, there's a dent in the box. Yeah. God wants a perfect gift.
So we have to strive for
perfection.
We not expect you to be perfect.
Not perfect,
right?
But, when it comes down to your health, there's a sacrifice that you must make, that you have to make.
Right.
There's even certain times of the day that you got to cut your eating. You have to cut it off.
Yeah.
My instructor taught me how not to eat after 6 p.m. Not to eat after 6 p.m. There's something about your body, it's not in movement, it's not burning calories.
Tablets start slowing down at a certain part of the day, especially when you're sleeping.
And the key also, the major key, believe it or not, and I'm guilty of this, but we all need to get plenty of sleep.
Yeah, we do need to make sure we're getting enough rest.
Because that affects your body and your health. If you don't get enough rest. The sleep is the key for real. And the more hours is required, like 7 or 8 hours.
It's a good time.
Sleep.
People use.
And sometimes really, if you exercise before you lay down, it'll help you sleep.
It can.
It'll help you sleep better. Yeah.
So as we said before, it's a matter of like our attitude. We got to get that mindset going. We got to recognize we're called to do great things. We got to educate ourselves. Because I when I was listening to Stan, he was talking about how he learned about how to eat right. He learned what exercises he needed to do. He learned to kind of discipline himself. And see, that's the thing too. That's a part of the process, that we have to discipline ourselves enough so that we're able to accomplish those dreams or those goals that we have. Because if we're not disciplined, it's not good. It's not good. What was the scripture they were talking about when you were talking about we should buffet our body but not buffet it? Somebody made a statement, not buffet it.
What about ex-pastors? He said, the Bible says you're supposed to buffet your body, not buffet it. Yeah.
So that's where the discipline comes in.
Yeah.
That's where, the education part comes in, knowing what you need to do to get where you want to go. Because we want to see you be successful, right, Stan?
That's right.
That's part of what we do. We want to see you successful and reaching those dreams and those goals. And don't do like us and make excuses. We are working on ourselves. No, please don't make excuses. Please go forward so that years from now, 10 years from now, you can look back and say, I really did it. I worked hard. I set my goals. I had a plan. I worked my plan and I did it. We like to hear great reports like that.
Yeah.
So that would be wonderful to hear. Anything else you want to add, sweetie?
None. Just, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Invest in your health. Invest in yourself. I know we have a tendency as parents, as husbands, as wives, we've invested in so many people,
right.
but ourselves. So don't neglect yourself.
That's good
Take
advice.
the time out to invest in yourself.
I like that.
All right. We're going to call it a night, guys. And we'll see you next Sunday on a new day with Stanley and Renee. Be blessed.
You guys have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.